I guess. I didn't do it to you earlier, but
did I already get like the worst thumb shots on our lives normally? The thumbnails on our lives, because I'm usually drinking water when we go live.
I drinking water.
Trying to get Gatorade to sponsor us, all right? It's a long plan.
You were in the green. I love it.
So now we're live on Instagram as well.
All right, smile just in case it's recording already. All right, welcome to another week of Chicago Landlord Secrets. Man, this is our first episode. We're actually going to do it in person and be live still. So I got my co-host here, Tim Harstead, and we got our guest, which is actually what prompted us to do this live, Pablo Gonzalez. Secrets. Yes. Yes. So Pablo comes to us all the way from Florida. He is a investor. He works for a AI forward maintenance tech company. I don't know how to explain it, but does for property managers, does AI for property maintenance. So excited. Me and Tim are gonna have our show here, and we got some color commentary. So
there you go. For just so the people out there understand how big of a deal this is, Mark set off fireworks in his dumpster right now.
All right. So what he's referencing is
just for us to come here and
That's true.
So what he's referencing is we had a one of my teammates came over and said, "Hey, dude, who's got Nissan
my
and,
car?"
Yeah, our dumpster's on fire. Like, oh, casually.
I go out there thinking there's a little fire. Little do I know that my car is literally has ashes all over.
So we're gonna have to check the cameras to figure out who's smoking today in the back of our building, because that's the only thing that could have happened. So, man, Monday was crazy. Like we had the storms rip through here. I mean, it affected homeowners, it affected investors, it affected us. How bad? You guys had some tornado actually.
Yeah, so we're a little more. We're obviously more south than where you guys got your properties, south side, southeast side of Chicagoland, and we had an EF1 hit Hazel Crest, Homewood, and Markham, and then an EF0 hit towards Orland Park and Tinley. So tons of just high winds and destruction. And I think we have our tree guy has a list of about 14 bids that he's getting us right now.
It's good to be a tree guy this week.
Yeah, tree guy and roofers, I think are very busy right now. I never actually cared about it until this week either. I live in Tinley Park, and our village just passed a new law about door-to-door salespeople and trying to limit them. I swear to you, I've probably had 20 people knock on my door already, and since Monday, being like, there was giant hails. Because the other thing about it, if you're not local and you're watching and you have property here, the hail that was coming down in the south, especially towards like Tinley, Lamont,
here too, it's huge.
Yeah, it was baseball size. It wasn't golf ball size. Is normally like
we were only golf ball here. It was pretty crazy.
It was hitting 6 inches, which I guess might be a little bit smaller than a baseball, or right around there. But it was huge. We were in our basement after they told us to go and hide. We were in our basement, and we got 2 stories above us, and you still just heard the hail like playing the drums on the house. It was crazy.
Here it did it for like 10 minutes. Like it was long. Usually it does for 30, 45 seconds. It just kept coming.
Yep. So what kind of damage you got on any damage on your properties or fallen trees, or what do you got?
Well, I saw my first tree fall ever. Like we were standing in front window, which the next day we all kind of talked about. Like we were all like with our face against the window, like looking, like trying to look out because you couldn't see through the rain. Yep. It was fogging up. But the tree across the street from our office here fell on the house. We're like, wow, I just saw a tree fall on a house. Like you've never seen that. Like, let alone in the woods, right? No one knows. But the damage we had was pretty minimal. We had a lot of power out. We had our biggest problem we had is we had so many trees fall in lines where we had so many people calling us like, no, call ComEd. Like ComEd's the one's going to solve it. So we had tons of power outages. We had a lot of people having to back up their food, and a couple people stayed at hotels, but some places still don't have power. You still have power?
Homewood. I know one of our places I talked to in Homewood just got their power back on this morning. We still have no power in Sauk Village. So I know we got 3 or 4 people in Sauk Village that don't have power right now, including our flip. Because why not have more things come down on your project?
This one you had to trash out the hoarder, right?
The hoarder house. Yeah, we're almost done. We're pretty much finishing up the inside and getting the kitchen cabinets ordered and stuff like this at this point. And luckily, no major damage, but we don't have power right now, so we're taking a little slower until we can get some power back on. Just some tree branches on the roof, but no major damage, thankfully there.
I think I had more people ask me the question this week of, should I invest in a backup sump pump, which is something we always encourage. I encourage them. I have it in my own house. Like it's super valuable, like peace of mind wise. But did you have any, like the storm actually ripped through the house, anything that's not habitable today, or did you get lucky?
nothing that ripped through a house like that caused more than like windows being broken with the hail. The non-habitability or whatever is
Habitability.
Habitability. Yeah, no, thanks. The non-habitability part was the trees hitting the power line. So we have several houses where there is no there is no. It's not that the power is out. I mean, the power is out for the whole block, but there is no line connecting the house to the street anymore. It's completely ripped down.
Wow. How do you? So we're now in Tornado Alley, right?
Yeah.
And you guys have hurricanes in Florida. So
We have, everything that you guys are talking about of like installation guys, roofers, all these people kind of like lining up and licking their chops for work rings very true for hurricane season in Florida as well.
I don't know what's worse though, knowing 4 or 5 days you're going to get pummeled and preparing for it or freaking out, or just getting pummeled not as bad. Like none of us saw this coming on Monday. Like it's supposed to be something.
Literally like I was in the morning, my morning routine before I go to work, and before I go work out, before I go to work, is just I'll sit in my yard with coffee, except for winter, and sort of get that light explosion in your eyes and like get woken up and everything. So I'm 7 in the morning, 6:45, 7 in the morning on Monday. I'm on my phone looking at the weather for the day, and there was 8% chance of rain. It wasn't like hey, it's going to be rain, maybe it'll be a storm. And it went all of a sudden, my phone stops going off. I don't know how Tom Skilling is still on our phones, but he's still the one that tells me to run to my basement. Tom Skilling's going off and the sirens start going off. And it's like, get in the basement. It's touching down. I'm like, okay, time to go.
From the property manager standpoint, do you do anything to prepare for this? Like now that we're in Tornado Alley, like is there anything you'd advise anyone to do? I guess like I feel this is there's no one thing, I guess.
There's not. I mean, the biggest things, right? And we've talked about this a couple months ago because I think it's on repeat now with this weather, the way it's been coming. But one is making sure that we don't have I think this one was so bad that I don't know if you would have prevented a whole lot. But some of the smaller ones, having limbs and having tree branches go over the roofs of your house or go over the power lines, where all it has to do is drop like this, isn't good. We want to trim ahead of time and not have to make it have to give some effort to get to those spots. And then I think, like you said, the backup battery for the sump pumps is huge because we all lost power. Some of us lost power for multiple days. And, when you lose that kind of power, if you don't, and with the rain coming, if you don't have something, you're screwed. Do
you have a backup generator at your house, like a full blown like gen rec type?
I don't yet. It's something that we thought about getting and stuff.
I always think about it, but it's like,
yeah.
I've never pulled the trigger on it though.
Yeah, it's definitely on our list of survival guide.
So in Florida, is that a normal thing? Like, do you have one at your house? Like, or is that? You're pretty close to the beach too.
I don't have a generator at my house. A lot of people I know have generators and that preparation. What I was going to talk about as far as like what we see in Florida, because we see it coming, is you get more time to prepare, right? Like to do those kinds of things like the preemptive maintenance. But you also get time to kind of like check in with your vendor base and figure out, right? Because what you get is storm hits, a bunch of people are in trouble. It's open season for them to make as much money. So building into your contracts with your vendors, kind of like, do you have preferential treatment in the event of like big weather events? Mm-hmm. And if Chicago's now turning into Tornado Alley, you probably want to, I don't know if you have this already for winter events or whatever, but if you're turning into Tornado Alley, wind events and these hail events of like having preferential treatment from your roofers or from your people, do you guys have that in your contracts? Is that part of something that you talk about?
It's Chicago. It's just expected. Like, you're my high man. You show up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you agree with that? Like, I don't. We're not that sophisticated in the contracts.
I don't. Yeah. I mean,
but they won't get more business from us.
Chicago,
if they screw us.
Chicago's a handshake city, right? Like everything is a handshake.
Yeah.
There's not as many. I think we're not as. Although a contract is a contract, we have contracts for a lot of things. I don't think we have these long-term contracts all the time with like vendors and stuff like that you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think that, and this is an advantage. We don't do it a whole lot, but I'm gonna lean people towards hiring a property manager because we have so much work for you. Like the normal person doesn't call their plumber 7 times a week.
For sure.
The normal person doesn't call a roofer for 10 to 15 jobs a year. But when we have 300, 1,000, 1,500 properties and we're doing that, like we are priority.
100%.
Like you have to give us priority because otherwise you're going to lose half your business. Like most of my vendors are probably worth 30% to 70% of their work. And so if we're not getting priority, then they're not going to risk that.
It's a big reason to use property managers in Florida. It's because of in these events having that like access to the vendor base. It's huge.
I got 4 calls or 4 texts and calls. 2 people that never cut down their trees that I told them to, that were telling me I was right, and then 2 that were thanking me for making them spend. One guy was $5,000, the other guy was $7,200 for thanking me for making them spend that money because those trees would have totally fallen in that storm.
I'm curious. This is you talked about proving you right. I'm gonna say something I was wrong on, that my right hand person at my office was right on, and luckily I didn't bet money on it. But after the storm Monday, Tuesday morning, we wake up. First thing is, all right, we need to get our PMs out and our maintenance out to go check on all the vacant properties, because we don't know what's going on because people haven't reported it. There's no one to report anything. My head PM comes to me and goes, "No, we should also just send them to the occupied ones too." No, I'm like, why? They'll call. What if they don't? Sure enough, my HVAC guy is out on Tuesday. Wednesday, out yesterday, to replace a water heater, and goes, "Hey, do you guys know about this yard?" And an entire probably 40-foot tree with a trunk probably the size of all 3 of us combined fell down, knocked out the power of the house and everything. And they didn't call. They didn't say anything.
Jeez.
We called them. The HVAC guy's like, "Why aren't you home?" She's like, "Oh, I have no power."
So you just left.
Just left.
Oh my God.
They call. So even if you have, don't trust tenants, don't trust people in general, whatever saying you want to do there, but check on your properties, or make sure your property manager's checking on everything. We would have walked it anyways that week, but we're taking priority to the ones that were unoccupied, and that turned out to be wrong.
Jeez. And that was like when we had all the properties on the south, so we still have some on there, but you had to double check. It's like, it's almost like the code of the street down there of like, just don't you feel like you're telling on the tree, like if there fell, and like they want to keep quiet because they don't want trouble or whatever, like they're afraid it's going to come back to them, like oh man, that's crazy.
I feel like normally I could see that. I feel like you have a pretty good excuse when a tornado just ripped through. Like no one's going to think that you were out there hanging on a branch and knocked it down.
Well, we were fortunate enough where we've been working with that software company, the guy I introduced you to,
Yep.
where we saw 311 calls coming from our property specific, and there were trees, and we were able to turn around. This is probably a good case for him. We were able to turn around because 311's the number you call, just the city number. And we were able to turn around and take action on that, even though those tenants didn't call us. So that was pretty valuable in that scenario. So
I think another good one, or a good topic on this, especially with the fallen trees and stuff like that. When's an insurance claim, and how to go about figuring it out. I think one of the worst things people do, if they think that, hey, something's going to be expensive, it might be a few grand, before they get bids, before they do anything, they're calling the carrier.
yeah,
If you have State Farm, you're calling that 1-800 number. And as a former insurance agent, that is like the worst thing you could do, because that counts as a claim. And that counts as them getting closer to dropping you. That counts as them.
even if you don't go through and get any money, they still call
the
that.
second,
that was a risk.
The second, they don't have to pick up the phone. The second that your number's on caller ID, you have a mark on your policy.
Wow.
That's going to raise prices and things like that. Now, here's the flip side of that. Your agent, and this is why, nothing against the companies like Geico, that where it's a 1-800 number, but this is why it's so much better to have a company with an agent, or to have a broker that can go to 10 different companies and get prices and things like that. I can now call my agent and say, "Hey, what does this look like if I make a claim?" Then the way we were trained is we'd call in and go, "Hey, I have someone that wants to buy insurance, but they have this scenario. What would happen if this happened?" And go through it with the claims person, find out, and then advise them if they should or not. Because we can play that hypothetical as an agent or broker. You can play that hypothetical game with the carrier. But if you are the policy holder and you call in, they're marking you.
It's got to be some sort of a math problem too in figuring out, because a lot of people are like, "Oh, it's a $4,000 tree or a $6,000 problem," but it's like you have a 10% deductible or 2,000 or whatever it might be, and then your insurance is going to go up, probably guaranteed 10% for at least the next 5 years. And all this stuff follows you. Even if you're a State Farm and you file a claim, your insurance goes up, and you might go to Allstate and it goes a little lower. They're still figuring out your risk because they have record of everything from prior. So
they know you. Even if you move houses, they're still tracked. It's not even tracked. It's tracked to the house, but it's also tracked to you. So you move houses and they're going, "Well, this person called a lot." And that's why credit score goes into, and I don't know if you guys know this, but like when they're getting your rate, credit score is so to take a step back, insurances have to get approved by the state on what they can increase and decrease the rates because of. And credit score is one of them, and income is one of them, because if you have more money, you're less likely to call in for something small. So you'll actually have cheaper insurance because your credit score is higher, because you can show that you have more money and more credit card availability, et cetera.
So do you think the insurance agency will change, or the property manager, or we can't screen tenants for credit scores first?
It 100% will be property managers because we don't have enough money yet to go into the pockets of the politicians.
So is that how insurance gets away with that? Just the lobbyist side of things? They're able to.
Yep.
I mean, the things that insurance companies score you for are things we would lose our licenses for.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of crazy.
I mean, mortgage companies aren't as bad, but it's still the same. Like, everyone's complaining how housing's so unaffordable. You know, you take Chicago and all these laws that they're trying to pass. Landlords are evil. Landlords are evil. Okay, why don't you go buy a house? Why can't? Well, why not? Why is no one putting, with the exception of New York, which we won't have to go into that right now, but like New York's the only one I've seen that is starting to get these things where, hey, if you want to sell something in our city, our state, you're going to have to follow these rules and keep there. And they should be going after a mortgage broker or a mortgage company, right? Like, why can they screen for a credit score, but a landlord can't?
My bank will not lend in Cook County. They're a Midwest regional bank, but they won't. If I bring up, we do our commercial loans. If I bring up a commercial property, which I'm not buying industrial buildings in Cook County, maybe for the same reason, but they won't lend in Cook County. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah. As a broker, that's redlining, right?
Yes.
Like I know brokers that have been scared.
$10,000 fine and you lose your license, you get in trouble again. Like, yeah, for sure.
One of my favorite stories when I first started, and I don't know how true this is in terms of like, would this have cost me my license? But I was definitely, as a young broker, and probably why I went into property management. But I got this guy, was an investor. He wanted to go invest, and he's like, I see all these properties on Independence Boulevard. I'm like, okay. And like, everything in me wants to talk about like how do I tell him in a nice, like, how do I tell him legally that, like, are you sure you want to go over there? Are you sure? I don't know. Like, all right, we can go. So I showed him another property in like West Lawn or something like that. And then we started driving down 290 to get there. And he pulls down the block first, slows down by the building, has like 10 drug dealers come up to him and just speeds away. I get the call. Yeah, I'm not going to see this. It's like, all right, good. Are we good now? Like, is this done? But like, as a broker, like, I can't be like, hey, I don't know if I feel safe. I mean, I can definitely get my concealed carry ready, but I can't tell him that I don't feel safe. Like, that would be a license violation, which is crazy.
All right, before going further, anyone that's watching now or the recorded between now and August 6th, MBOA, The summer soiree is next week, August 6th. I think it's in Ravenswood, but the address on the website. It's gonna be a cool event. You know, other landlords, vendors, politicians. It's just a great event for MBOA, which is who represents you. If you're watching this, you're a small landlord and you don't have much representation. You don't have the federal government looking out for you. You don't have the local government looking out for you. You have a group like MBOA or CAA or CAR. Those are the only people that are looking out for you. And this event, every dollar of your ticket goes towards MBOA and their ability to, you know, whether it be lobby down in Springfield, lobby down at City Hall, and be able to represent your rights. So MBOA Chicago, you're going, right?
Yep, I'll be there.
All right. I made Javier is in town, our marketing guy, and I made him delay his plane ticket by 1 day so he can come there. So
oh, nice. So he's staying a while. Okay.
He's staying a while, and then we're going to do a podcast episode there too. So we're going to do one live there. So I'm pretty excited about that. So you're going, right?
Yeah, I will be there. I will be there. We're going to party. Last year was fun. I think, like I said last week, we closed it down. It's in the same spot it was last year. If any of you guys,
which is the best venue ever. It's huge,
dude. It is the weirdest thing driving. I don't know. Last year was my first time ever being at that venue. And it was the weirdest thing because you walk in thinking like this. I thought that was gonna be a big party. It's like a small little. It looks like a building that has like 100 storefronts on it on one block, and it's nothing. And you walk into like this huge like raised ceiling, 4 floors, a huge outdoor area. I'm like, oh, okay, this is not what I expected.
So what else you got going on, man? Anything? I keep seeing stuff pop up about the Bears. Is there any updates on that?
No, I mean they're still dangling around Hammond and trying to get Hoffman Estates and Illinois to crack, but there can't be anything because Illinois is not in session until September, October. So
there's nothing even beyond.
Yeah, we're stuck there.
There's nothing new going on with laws or anything like that. I'm not hearing anything either.
Yeah, I mean I will say this, and I mean to beat a dead horse, I guess, but like MBOA. This is why our money going to MBOA is so important. The amount of negative press going towards the alderman pitching the alternative to Johnson's rent control laws is incredibly huge. And
So you're saying just the proposal itself, or the counter proposal of them even on thinking
the
that
negative of the counter proposal?
Really?
So
I didn't hear
like
that.
They're protesting the alderman. I know it's Lee and 𝗥𝗲𝗹𝘁.
Villegas, yeah.
I mean, they're protesting. They're coming out against them. Like, this is, obviously renters and renter right people that are making money off of chasing landlords and suing them. But there's just tons of backlash. And if we don't have that voice, which is what I think me and you are trying to do on this show, as well as MBOA and CAA and CAR and stuff like that, without that voice, like we get hushed down, and all of a sudden there is no apartments. So,
Yeah, part of me is hoping that that counter was just more of a stop measure for the original one to go through, because like once they put a counter proposal, then they have to at least take the time to go through that one. So I'm hoping nothing comes from it is the ultimate goal.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if it will. I think something has to pass,
Because they've been talking about it for
this
so
point.
long.
It's been so long, or at least. So I think you were talking about this last week. I think if it passes, especially if the Fair Act passes, the counter one, if it passes, then that's another 5 to 10 years we don't have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Which would make me feel safe, because like it's so weird. And I know we did a lot of prep work the last few months, but the Illinois Act that's coming in January 1. Like, there's so many changes that have to happen to the way we operate and the way that our leases are written and all those things. And so many organizations and attorneys have to rewrite leases now. If you're going to put something else on top of that for January 1, like, we need time, and just not knowing is hard.
Now that that's for certain pass, or it's signed officially now, we should, one of these upcoming weeks, we should go through
it again.
Yeah, go through every single item now that we know it's real, and really talk about, or maybe we take a couple episodes so we don't bore the hell out of people. But we can just go through like this, how it's going to change you. And if you're a self-manager, you're going to have to do this. If you're a property manager, you're going to have to do this. So we probably should take that. It might help us too, just be able to force us to sit down, and we'll get value from it for sharing it. So
there you go.
So what else going on, man?
How's leasing season going for you? We got one more big month.
So leasing has slowed down for us. So I put out to all of our clients today in our weekly blast to them. The last 7 days, so I wrote out that email, I think, on Tuesday. The last 7 days, our applications, our inquiries, our showings, applications were down like 300%, like crazy number. Like, I woke up on Sunday, I get a daily email of all the open applications, and there was 3. We got like 56 listings.
Yeah.
So I forwarded it to our director. I'm like, either, man, the market's slowing down here, or our showing agents aren't showing. Like you got to figure this out. So, but so it slowed down drastically for us. What about you?
So the leasing side's picking up. The problem is, and we're a lot more in like the southwest, the southeast villages, right, where you have those licensing, and you have to get a tenant first, and then go to them and say, "Here's my tenant. Can you inspect my house?"
What cities is that? So you can warn people not to buy there.
All the ones we operate. If you go to our website, the ones that we operate in, besides Chicago, and possibly coming soon, Chicago, those. But they're behind. Like, first of all, they make you wait. You have to show them your tenant first, and they come in. We had one of the villages that doesn't do that. You can get your inspection done. We got ours done. We go to get our license. Hey, we got a renter, give us our license. They go, no, the tornado just came through. We need to re-inspect. We're not honoring anything that happened before the tornado.
Do you have anything that resembles rental license in Florida? Like,
I'm just putting 2 and 2 together, what you guys are talking about. So you guys need to go to some kind of like city official before you can show to a new tenant. What is?
So it's about 300 suburbs here in the Chicago metro area, and 198, give or take, a couple, require some form of annual fee and annual inspection. Okay. And sometimes, like in the Schaumburg, the town you're staying in right now, they only inspect single family homes. You just pay the fee for the townhouse. So it's first off, it's difficult because it's different in every city. So if you're like us and you manage in multiple different areas, you have to know all the rules. Yeah. But a lot of the suburbs he works in the south suburbs, which they're pretty disorganized, and we have stuff down there as well too. We just don't take new clients on for the reason of how difficult it is to manage down there. They will require you to put the place on the market, and then once you have a lease, you have to get it inspected, almost like a Section 8 type concept. It's just super crazy.
No, we don't have that in Florida, man.
And then we have villages that have straight up ban renters.
Wow.
Because that sounds legal.
Yeah.
Banned renters.
So they'll,
Yeah, you
how they
can't-
do it is they ban the rental license. So in order to rent your place out, you need to have a rental license.
Mhm.
And if we put a moratorium on rental licenses, that just means you can't rent it.
Okay.
So there's multiple cities like Markham, South Holland, Country Club Hills put a cap on it. Like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's the cap is one thing, and then you have Markham, which is obviously we've talked about a lot. My arch enemy at this point. We made a decision that we're no longer operating there, and we've given 30 days
in Markham.
notice. Yeah, because we're having owners who we can't even sell their property now. Like we go to sell it, they go, "No, you owe us 40 grand for fines." What do you mean? Well, you didn't the tenant moved out, but you didn't register, like you didn't get it initiated or what? Like this random things, but they're making up rules as they go, and then they won't let you pay the fines. So then the fines get stacked on top of each other and they go, well, you have to sell the house. Okay, well, we're going to sell the house. Well, you can't sell the house because we won't pass the inspection. Well, how do we pass the inspection? Well, we're not going to pass you. Like it makes it I don't know what the grab is.
It's crazy. In the city he's referencing, we had a vendor, hardwood floor finisher, parked out front.
Mhm.
The city ticketed the vendor and ticketed the homeowner
Yeah.
for not getting the vendor license within the city. Like $500 each, like $1,000 for like
Crazier one with Markham. Tenants gets a speeding ticket.
Mhm.
Who's responsible for paying that?
The tenant.
Nope, the owner, the homeowner.
yeah,
The landlord. The landlord's license gets revoked because the tenant didn't pay their speeding ticket, so they can no longer be a landlord in the city.
This is when I was looking at all the storm damage, they talked
Yeah.
about the storm damage going through Harvey. They mentioned too. I'm like, that sort of looks normal.
Yeah.
Like Harvey's a really like bad city. I think they're trying to file bankruptcy right now. Like the South suburbs have a huge withdrawal of commercial in the last 20 years, which has lowered the tax base. The residents have had to pay it, which has pushed a lot out, which put a lot of investors in there. A lot of it's very disorganized and it's kind of messy down there.
Yeah.
A lot of the he's talking about these inspections. There's a city down there that still does it by hand. So when they show up for the second inspection, they forgot the list. They just do it again, and they have a whole new list after you just went and spent $4,000 fixing all this first stuff. So
it's crazy. Which, by the way, this is sort of off topic but on topic. Our good friend Tiffany, from the former mayor of Dalton, has won her primary in Georgia. So she is now running for a seat in Georgia.
if you search this mayor in Dalton, Illinois, she is a mess. Like
There's literally city hall villages where her boyfriend attacks. Like there's a straight up like just fist fight in the middle of city hall because someone said something and her boyfriend attacked the guy, and like it's wild. But
South suburbs were crazy. And so you take on these properties there and you get these calls from these investors. Like, how do you because it got to the point where we stopped, where it's like I spent 20 minutes explaining to them like, here's all the problems we're gonna run into if we manage it. I just want to make sure you understand all that before we go for it. I mean, you do something similar with that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the balance of it, right? So making sure they understand what's going to happen, but also here's why it's still worth it, and the reason is Section 8. So unlike for those that are familiar with it, right, in the city, our Section 8 programs, there are two different organizations that run the Section 8 for the city of Chicago versus the surrounding Cook County suburbs. In the city of Chicago, when you get a Section 8 tenant, odds are you're going to get the market rate or $100, $150 less. Like, and it's an annoying process. And it's almost at this point, it's almost people aim for market tenants. And if they get a CHA tenant, they'll take it, but they really rather have like a lot of times, especially lately, we've gotten a lot of rejections from CHA where the rent's too low. And we go with the market, and we end up just going with the market tenant. Cook County housing, on the other hand, a house that in the market would rent for $1,500 rents for $3,400. So the extra $1,800 that you can get for it, I like, speaking of Dalton, I still think there's a lot of opportunity there because you can still buy.
Dalton is one of the better ones.
You can
everything we laugh about.
You can still
That's where the
buy.
Pope's from. You're Catholic, dude. That's
Okay.
Pope's house.
Yeah. You can buy a house for $160 that's ready to go. Maybe needs a few, tweaks or whatever. Something that you can do by yourself. Not even like handyman tweaks, but just like go clean it up a little bit and rent it for $3,000.
Oh wow.
The only other negative is your tax is gonna be $10,000, but at that rate still, the Section 8 being able to pay that is just the math still works. But again, I talk about this a lot too. You need in real estate investing, you need money in the side, like you need money in reserves.
sure.
And especially in this, you're going to have 2 months where the village just stops. You know, we're fighting with another village because they won't turn on the water because someone jacked our meter. And they're like, well, you got to pay a fine. Okay, we'll pay the fine. First of all, we don't know where it went. We didn't remove our meter. The meter's been off for 6 months while we rehab the house. And now we want water on because the tenant moved in. Well, you need to pay the fine. Okay, here's the fine. When can you come out? We're out of meters.
It's very dysfunctional. It sounds so.
It sounds like it.
Here's $1,500 to pay our fine. When can you come out and give our tenant water? Actually, we're out of stock right now. Sorry, we'll let you know.
Wow. So, I mean, it sounds like you guys have very very localized real estate knowledge, neighborhood by neighborhood, that's really, really relevant because of this kind of like feudal system between the different political kind of like organizations. So I assume that really, really affects occupancy, rent prices, stuff like that. What about home price appreciation? Does home price appreciation here happen kind of like in a swath over the overall Chicagoland area? Is it localized also? Like as an investor, what am I, what's that look like here?
So I think you go. So I think when you talk about, I'll chalk it up into class A, B, C, D classes.
Okay.
I think a lot of what we're talking about here and joking about it, the south suburbs end up being C and D class type properties. And what you run into is then just an inflow of investors because when the price is right, there's unlimited amount of investors that will, guys in California, this working with JWB. It's like guys in California are like, oh, they're 100. I'll take 3. It's like, I can't believe it's only 100. We should get like 100 of these. Like
way more players willing to sit down at the 5-10 poker table than the 250, 500.
Those guys are unlimited. So now you flood these towns with investors and it pisses the municipalities off. And then they do all these counteractive things that works against the tenant, it works against the investor, it works against the actual owner occupied person down the street. At the same time, you have commercial withdrawals, but you still have that unlimited amount. Now, Illinois, number 1 or number 2 in property taxes overall in general. Like I think worst case scenario, I think we always fight for that top spot with Jersey, but you have the prices do not reflect that. Our pricing is held down artificially because taxes are so high.
Okay.
So what you might get in Schaumburg might be 150,000 less because you're going to pay 3 times the taxes you might pay in Arizona. And that's where we kind of the property taxes hold us down, which goes back to the conversation of why, we had the Cook County assessor on the podcast a couple weeks ago, and the budget is $19 billion for Cook County. And it was only like 13 billion a few years ago. It's like, but it's not like we've added all this crazy infrastructure. And it's like that until that ever gets under control, that's always going to artificially keep it down. Now, all of the pricing and all that stuff, there's still a great, you get in the AB, North Side Chicago, your Lincoln Parks, where we're going to go tomorrow for the Cubs game, like all that stuff. Like those areas just, that's where people want to be. There's tons of commercial base. So that does drive rent growth and that does drive pricing. But the rent growth is being driven in a whole different caliber because there's just no housing stock right now. And lack of housing stock makes it like the best thing for investors right now, where it's like, if you could get a property at a good price, you're guaranteed it's going to go up just because of the lack of supply. And your rent's going to go up just due to a guaranteed rent supply.
And to add to that too, we increased right when COVID hit, like everyone else, but not at the levels of Texas and Florida.
Nothing.
And stuff like that. So like, at least from what I've seen, you're around the nation a little more than we are, but you're starting to see a lot heavier crashes in these big towns and cities and stuff, where like they were, all right, we kept increasing 500 a year. And now all of a sudden it's crashing and they got to explain investors. We're not seeing that too much in Chicago. There's a little bit of that where where we might have renewed too good to now that the person moves out and we can't get that rent. But it's not drastic. It's, you're going to get the same rent versus increasing it 200 like you're used to when a move out happens. So I don't think we didn't see the same crash as the rest of the nation. But other than that, the biggest thing in Chicago is just the different areas and finding that next place that's going to, and I would never suggest that this is how you invest because it's impossible to do, but finding out that next area that gets gentrified. And all of a sudden the $85,000, $100,000 house you bought's worth 400.
Invest in the path of progress in some way. Yeah, that makes sense. We've seen to your point of like rents going up and down and crashing and pricing crashing. I've read a whole bunch about how Pricing has really gone down at a bunch of places. Rent has gone down at a bunch of places. Florida itself is distributed, right? Like not all Florida is the same. Jacksonville has surprisingly just continued to like stay really, really level. Like it isn't continuing to go up gangbusters, but it's just been kind of like flat. And now we're starting to see stuff grow. I was just talking with you guys on the podcast prior, this idea that you're supposed to, historically what happens is interest rates go up, it suppresses demand, it creates this kind of like tightened coil. And then when interest rates go back down, coil expands, prices go back up, stuff like that. We've been so long in this kind of like suppressed demand, tightened coil environment, and we don't really see a horizon for it, right? Like we're still not seeing a place where interest rates are going to go down. But what we're seeing now, at least in Jacksonville, is things are starting to appreciate back to kind of like historical averages at the very least. It's not like pre-COVID, it's not COVID time, but it's back to historical average, which says we're entering like a new level of like normalization around, okay, now we're just used to these high interest rates like we were in the 80s or whatever. Are you guys seeing that? Are you guys seeing like a back to more normalized home price and rent appreciation right now?
I think definitely on the rent side, it's more normalized. I think the home appreciation is starting to get there. It has been the weirdest 5 years in trying to explain to people how it's still a seller's market, but yet no one's selling, because that's not how it's supposed to work. Like you're supposed to get a seller's market, then everyone sells, and then it becomes a buyer's market because too many people sell.
Yeah.
But it's been a seller's market since COVID started, and we're finally starting to see that shift now. But there's still not enough inventory.
Well, it still comes out of inventory. So since
Still inventory,
2000, since the crash, so 2012, there's only been an average of about 10, 11,000 new construction permits in the Chicago market since 2012. Now you look at other Houston and Dallas, and I think there's a couple of cities and counties in Florida that are really big. But in Houston specifically, it's the last couple of years been 55, 60,000.
Yeah.
And that was a line that trended. So I mean, they have literally 20 times the amount of new permits, which also ultimately maybe that's too much, and that's what has the pullback.
Yeah, multifamily went way up, and then
we got nothing. We got nothing. And
But that's how you solve all the issues that the mayor is trying to solve. That's how you solve it.
Supply.
You get rid of the $120,000 in fees and permits and all that stuff that I have to do to build a house and to build an apartment. The city built that over on the west side. The city built, what was it, 20 units, 30 units? And it cost them something like 18 million, 20 million to build 30 units. And this is the city ran, like, that's not sustainable. And no one's going to get to a point of affordability on that.
Well, it's because we don't have city-run grocery stores. That's what we need here in Chicago. So, well, here we're gonna wrap it. We're coming up on the edge of time here, man.
Yep.
Any final thoughts? Any closeouts?
No,
for the week.
It's going to be a good week. We got
your storm shelter in place.
Yeah, get your storm shelter on. The fire department is very quick out here. That's what I've learned today in Roselle. It's great being live, and we'll see you guys all next week.
All right, Pablo, thanks for joining us. Tim, thanks for making the trek out here. Listeners, if you found value in this, please share this because we're trying to grow our listener base. This is live every single Thursday. If you don't catch it live, you could catch the record on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram and YouTube. It's on the GC YouTube page. So check it out, share the show, and we'll see you next week. Thanks, guys.
All right.